On today's episode of Rambling with Rio Robinson, Washington has made a signing at the wide receiver position. We've released the kicker. We kept the more ass kicker that we've seen so far, and fans are blaming each other and the media for players' shortcomings. Thank you so much, Ron Rivera.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
But what's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, and Washington made some shakeups today. We signed a wide receiver from NFL Production Pass. We signed a wide receiver that has not touched a football field in about 6 years. Martavis Bryant. Martavis, get off the weed, Bryant. You know, weed is not outlawed or banned in the NFL anymore. So there may be a place in the league for Martavis. He spent last year on the practice squad with the Dallas Cowboys. So Dan Quinn has a good idea on what's left in the tank for the 6'5", 210-pound receiver. When speaking to the media today, he seemed very humbled and grateful for the opportunity. He mentioned he was around 230 last year, and right now he's back to around 208. That's a massive human being. When last year he was 6'5", 230, Washington desperately misses the presence of a large body, sure-handed receiver. Man, I remember the Martavis Bryant, Antonio Brown days in Pittsburgh. That boy got busy. His career, like Josh Gordon's, went to absolute hell because he couldn't get off the marijuana. But he's going to have an opportunity here in Washington because outside of Terry McLaurin and Olamide Zaccheaus, and until recent news, Dami Brown, it's all uncertainty in the receiver room right now. I know in Cliff Kingsbury's time as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, he liked two types of receivers. He liked burners and he liked the big body guys. And a lot of our receivers do not fit. Some of our receivers just don't fit in either of those categories. I yawned at the notion that we were trying out Martavis Bryant yesterday. Yawn emoji. Oh, he's not going to make the roster. This is a big nothing burger conversation. I may be wrong about this. He could be here just to give a look for the preseason of what a large body receiver is going to look like in this current system. He could be a guy who's just out here to get some cardio and to get his name back out there over these next 2 weeks of preseason. But it feels like it could be a little bit more than that because the wide receiver room feels like an enigma minus the top couple spots. How's this room going to round out? And who is actually the guys in this room minus Terry? It seems like Olamide Zaccheaus has a stranglehold over the slot position, but it feels like the wide receiver 2 spot opposite Terry McLaurin is up for grabs between Jahan Dotson and Dami Brown. And that's a concern for me. That's a concern. Yes, we do want to see Dami finally spread his wings and turn that regular season shit into that preseason shit and camp shit into a productive, fruitful season. But Jahan Dotson was drafted in the first round 2 years ago. We took him over a guy like Chris Olave, George Pickens. We took him over much better receivers. So at some point, are we allowed as fans to expect first round production from our first round wide receiver? At some point, do we take notice and say, okay, it's not just the coaches, it's not just the scheme, it's not just the quarterbacks. Chris Olave is thriving with a dumpster fire at the quarterback position. And offensively, Garrett Wilson is going through the same shit Terry McLaurin went through since he's entered the league. It's been nothing but ass cheeks throwing him the football. Still productive, still won Rookie of the Year, put another 1,000-yard season together the year after. As soon as Rodgers gets on that field, he's going to go absolutely nuts. EB's scheme hindered everybody on the offense last year, including scary Terry McLaurin. You know what Terry McLaurin still did last year? He still fought and clawed his way to a 1,000-yard season in an off year. You know who didn't? The receiver opposite him that wears number one of Ron Rivera's many first-round picks here. And let's talk about him for a second. Ron Rivera's first-round pick in Washington, Chase Young. Ron Rivera's second first-round pick, Jamin Davis. Ron Rivera's third first-round pick, Jahan Dotson. And his fourth, Emmanuel Forbes. It's like a smorgasbord of disappointment. One big melting pot of never going to reach the ceiling that the guys who drafted me expected. Chase Young, you fans coddled him. They gave him every excuse in the book for the fact that he did not produce on Sundays. Real ones tried to tell you for years, this dude's work ethic and love for the game is not there. Jamin Davis was playing out of position, partly on the coaches, also should not have been a first-round pick. When we selected Jahan Dotson, when we traded back from 11 to 16, most people were surprised. There's obviously those in the fan base who are going to immediately just glaze whatever the team does, because I feel like a lot of people are fans of fandom and not the product of the football team. But every pick Ron made, except the Chase Young one, felt like a head scratcher in real time when it happened. And as we stand here in 2024, Chase is not on the roster. Jamin fighting for his life to make this roster. Emmanuel Forbes fighting for his life to get in the starting lineup. And Jahan Dotson currently fighting for his life to start opposite Terry McLaurin. At one point, are fans going to hold players accountable? These are grown man millionaires. Why are we coddling them, treating them with kids' gloves, and blaming everybody but the man suiting up on Sundays? Are we not allowed to hold grown men accountable as fans, as the paying customer? Saying someone's ass or trash just because is one thing, but actually calling out what you see, what you hear that's happening in Ashburn. Brian Mitchell got on the radio today and said, we wouldn't be bringing in Martavis Bryant if the receiving room was hitting like it was supposed to. He said someone's in the room pouting around, acting like a juvenile, and not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But it's fans' fault. It's fans' fault. Fans are hating. Fans are turning on players. Fans are taking a 180. Have some fucking shame. You are adults. Do y'all have children? I have two of them. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, I'm going to tell them about it. I'm going to tell them about it because I want better for my kids. You have a favorite team. Want better for your team. We've been asked for 25 years. How are we going to change the culture when all fans do is excuse lackluster performance, lackluster effort, lackluster love for the game? Best man up. This new regime owes nothing to Ron's draft picks past. They can bring in whoever they want, and nobody's turning on anybody. It is not a nothing burger that Jahan Dotson ran like 34 snaps in our first preseason game and was out on the field with our third string quarterback. Clearly, Cliff Kingsbury has not seen enough yet in practice to stamp him as the starting receiver opposite Terry McLaurin, because he would not be out there running with Jeff Driscoll. They would never put Terry out there with Jeff Driscoll. They ain't even had Dami out there with Jeff Driscoll for real, for real. Dami. Someone that a lot of us wrote off a long time ago because we've seen good summers. I seen Richmond Dami with my own two eyes. I went to 9 practices that year. He was killing shit his rookie year, and he was killing shit his sophomore year. And the training camp session, and then he got the preseason games and was dropping passes, dropping touchdowns, and then it didn't even work out with his college quarterback as the full-time guy. Dami Brown, fighting for his life here, has shown up this offseason. Is it necessarily going to predicate to regular season success? No. But for right now, he's hooping. He's trying to get on the field. He's trying to earn his name. There is new management here. You know how new ownership came in and wanted a year of evaluation before they absolutely plucked everybody and handed peak slips out to the entire organization? New coaching staff, new front office is going to do the same thing with the roster. They're going to slowly purge this shit until not a single Ron Rivera acquisition remains on this roster. So, just expecting or handing guys a job because they started in Ron Rivera's Washington or they were a first-round pick for that disappointing ass regime that feels like they did not hit on one pick in the entire duration of their tenure. You got another thing coming to you, but that's just me. I'm looking at the wide receiver room. You add Martavis Bryant to it, so you're now looking at a potential wide receiver room. Terry McLaurin, Dami Brown, Jahan Dotson, Olamide Zaccheaus, Luke McCaffrey. We drafted him in the 3rd round, so he's got to make the roster, right? Despite the fact that I haven't seen him on the field with the ones or twos all offseason. That leaves about a spot or two left for who? Are we talking Kazmeir Allen as a full-time returner, part-time gadget guy? Jamison Crowder as a full-time returner, part-time slot guy? Bryson Tremaine, who has the size and the body, but could it be that he's a summertime workout warrior? Is he NFL regular season roster worthy? Martavis Bryant, who hasn't touched a field in 6 calendar years? It's like one big melting pot of uncertainty right now. So we bring in another body to add to the mix because clearly something's missing in the room. We as fans don't really know what it is, but I know what we as fans are not going to do. We're not going to blame other fans for the shortcomings of an NFL football player. And I'd like some of you to bring shame back into your life because these are grown men. And as fans who've watched nothing but losing and disappointment for the last 25 to 30 years, stop pointing fingers at other fans and stop forming fan hives and fan factions. Stop putting football players' names in your Twitter profile. Stop making them your Avi because you're going to put burgundy coated lenses on all of your perspective and you're never going to call out anything. I don't want to hate any player on my team. I want every player on my team to be good. I have a Jahan Dotson shirt that says Jahim. You think I want Jahan Dotson to not be good at football just because I didn't want him on draft day? Absolutely not. I want my team to be good at football, and I don't care who gets replaced, cut, released to do it. I don't care. I don't care who we trot out there. I'm going to root for him. I want my team to win, point blank, period. That is my take on the wide receiver position. Talking about practice today, though. Let's talk about practice, not the game. Let's talk about practice a little bit. Jaden Daniels was on his shit today. He was balling. Zach Selby said he was looking very crisp. He was 3 on 3. He was 3 of 3 in their first team period, including 2 passes to Olamide Zaccheaus. As every practice goes by and the preseason game, Olamide Zaccheaus sounds like the number 2 lock for wide receiver right now. Like it's Terry and then Olamide Zaccheaus. Martavis Bryant had a nice block that allowed Crowder to spring free on a play. James Pierre had a pass breakup against Terry. Nice to hear James Pierre having a nice play because he was getting his shit torched versus the Jets last week. What a finish to the starting offense during 2-minute drill. Terry McLaurin makes a contested catch from Jaden Daniels while being covered by Noah Igbenogany. Love to see it. I don't know why Noah Igbenogany is covering Terry, but it's all good. So far, Jaden has only 1 incompletion in today's practice, and it was very nearly caught by Terry in the corner of the end zone. So Jaden just slinging that thing all over the field in practice today. I know that phrasing sounds crazy, slinging that thing all over the field, but I stand by it. No pause necessary. Jaden still looks as advertised. Starting offense getting to it. Andrew Wiley and Cornelius Lucas were back on the practice field today. We love to see that as well. We love to see actual tackles coming out on the field because the Dolphins are a very good football team. I would not want to see Jaden out there if it was anything less. But another acquisition Washington made is we decided to what? Go all in on Riley Patterson as the kicker. We released Ramses Ahmed today, who in the preseason game looked better than Riley Patterson, but Riley Patterson has the more production to his career, even though he doinked 2 kicks in practice yesterday. He doinked the shit out of a field goal in the preseason game. Doesn't appear to be able to hit from anything past about 45 to 47. Are they locking in on him? Are they bringing in a Harrison Mevis? I don't know what they're doing at the kicker position, but we got rid of one guy, which opens up the number 3. I wonder who's going to slide into that. Maybe Mikey Sanders still needs to slide into that number 3 because it appears that Dami is going to be holding number 2 for the season because his job looks like it's pretty safe here in Washington. What is Washington doing at the kicker position? Because I'm tired of talking about specialists. I don't want to talk about kickers when the regular season starts. So we need to figure out what the hell we are actually going to do at the kicker position. Riley Patterson needs to show us something over these next couple weeks of preseason because that's the last position I want to be worried about going into week 1. We're trying to develop and groom a rookie quarterback. We're trying to get a first-year offense and first-year defense sorted out. We don't need to be worrying about losing games because our kicker can't kick a 45-yard field goal. But we are now 3 weeks completed in training camp. Washington, I believe, is going to have a day off tomorrow, and they're going to have a travel day. They're going to be traveling down to South Beach, Vice City itself, Miami, to hold joint practices Thursday morning at, I believe, 10:30 a.m. against the Miami Dolphins. This is great smoke and great bump for our roster. I hope everybody's healthy because everybody needs to get out there versus this track star, very good contending football team that is Miami. And we're going to their neck of the woods. Humidity, sunshine, a little bit of precipitation. You know, when it's 60 degrees or above, that Miami Dolphins team is damn near unbeatable. When it's under 60, the wind blows and long sleeves are required. They turn into a new football team. They turn very vulnerable. The chink in their armor and kryptonite is exposed. We are going to see Miami in its full superpowers during these joint practices. And in the little bit we see of them in this preseason game coming up Saturday night at 7 p.m. But until then, that's all I got for right now. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rambling with Rio. Shout out to our sponsor. This video and all videos and streams this season will be brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, home of the fastest payouts in the industry and a 125% match bonus of up to $2,000 for your first 3 deposits. That's all I got for right now. Until next time, Commander Rio, out.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.